Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the All Atlantic Talks podcast. My name is Mariana, and I'm a former All Atlantic Ocean Youth Ambassador, and it's great to be here to have ocean conversations. The All Atlantic Talks podcast fosters the engagement of stakeholders, joint pilot actions, and the youth ambassadors of the All Atlantic Ocean Research and Innovation Alliance. This podcast is coordinated by the Brazilian National Council of State Funding Agencies, the Brazilian National Council for Scientific and Technological Development, and the Brazilian Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, and it's under the Anchor project that is supported by the European Commission. In this episode, we will learn more about the MERFISH project, a research network that aims to answer emerging challenges related to the global mercury issue. And this is a very interdisciplinary topic, since we will discuss about analytical chemistry, food safety, trophic transfer, and environmental and human health. And to help us understand a little bit of this complex topic, I would like to welcome our guest, Leonardo Piccinetti from the European Business. It's a pleasure to meet you, Leonardo, and welcome.
Thank you, Mariana. Good morning, everyone. My name is Leonardo Piccinetti. I'm the Managing Director of Europe for Business, which is a UK-based company. We are a partner in the MERFISH project, and we are in charge for socioeconomic analysis, dissemination, exploitation, and stakeholder engagement.
Thank you so much. Welcome. It's nice to meet you. I think it would be great for us to start with some background question. And I would like to ask you, why is it crucial to comprehend the source, the transport, and the effects of mercury on fish in order to safeguard human health and also environmental health?
Well, thank you very much. This is a very important question that comes from the MERFISH. Before starting to respond to these two major issues, I would like to stress a few aspects of the MERFISH project that you already mentioned. So first of all, MERFISH project is a European project funded from Horizon 2020 from the Marie Curie Action in Research and Innovation Staff Exchange Program. And MERFISH is address the aspect of mercury and selenium, mercury in particular, the major public health concern from the World Health Organization. So this aspect of recognition of mercury will be important also consider at European level. We have authorities like European Food Safety Agency, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the FAO from the United Nations Food and Agriculture. They consider that is an advice from the population groups such pregnant women, youth, children, the consuming fish, in particular from the mercury concentration. So our project is, of course, is a critical initiative to understanding, to mitigate the risk and to promote this sustainable practice to the mercury contamination in human health. But just go back to your question, why so crucial is important from us, the effect of mercury on fish? Of course, we need to take in consideration several reasons. One is the human exposure, which is we need to take in consideration that fish consumption is a very important route for human exposure for mercury. So if the human consume fish, contaminate, toxic form of mercury, will be, of course, is a big impact in health, in particular from the neurological damage in this case. But also we need to take in consideration other very important aspects for another reason regarding the bioaccumulation and biomagnification. So when we talk about mercury, is an ability to accumulate, in this case, in particular, in the whole entire food chain. In this case, the source of mercury, the transfer mechanism will be an issue regarding the aquatic ecosystem, and particular this knowledge will be important. So when we talk about the mercury project, in our case, will be involve several fields, analytical chemistries, we analyzing these optimize these detecting, quantify mercury, and assessment of the contamination level. The food safety issues is already been discussed regarding understanding how the form of mercury will be important for fish and essential for the risk associated. The trophic transfer, which is important for, in particular, in two different trophic levels, in Africa and Mauritius, and in Brazil, with the Amazon regions, and the fish nutrition and environmental human health. So considering that for fish nutrition, we have a very important aspect regarding mercury accumulation of fish in the diet and nutritional factors. And of course, from environmental human health, we'll be considering not only the affected fish risk in the human health in terms of aquatic ecosystem, but also this research of MERFISH will be support the risk assessment for model and guidelines from environmental human population, in particular the vulnerable groups population. So hopefully that is one of the aspects that we are considering so important, the challenge that we are focusing now for the MERFISH.
Thank you for explaining to us about how the MERFISH project is contributing to this topic. So I would like to ask you as well, what are some of the research challenges that MERFISH is addressing? You already mentioned some of them, and I would like to know a little bit more on how you are researching about analytical chemistry, food safety, and all of those topics.
Well, we need to also take in consideration that this project have a different implication, different impact. Of course, there is a technological impact. There is an economic impact, of course, in terms of fish consumption, but there is also a social economic impact, which is from us is extremely important. Let me just to clarify this also important aspect. Just to give an overview in the framework of Brazil and Ocean initiative that you're organizing, for instance. What we do in this area, we have two major factors, in particular in the Amazon regions. One is related to indigenous communities. One of the aspects that we identify of the implication of the mercury contamination is also that the mercury contamination on the fish poses direct risk to limited access to alternative food sources. There is also an aspect that we are considering very important for the MERFISH is from the socioeconomic aspect of the maternal and child health. When we talk about pregnant women, the youth, young children will be considered as a vulnerable population that will be affected the mercury exposure. But also we need to take in consideration there is another very important aspect that we are challenging, which is the limited healthcare access, especially for the vulnerable population in Amazon regions, which is often very face a challenge from healthcare services. And that lack of awareness of limited resources to see this intervention of the mercury-related health problem. But there is also, as I already mentioned, this cultural, socioeconomic impact of the mercury contamination, which is a restriction of fish consumption, in particular decrease availability of safe fish. That's why we are conducting several, let's say, innovative approach from dissemination to communication to engagement, also organizing like a science communication interface initiative during our secondment. For instance, the last one what we did with my colleague, Matt, we've been in also Eason Food event in Slovenia. We made with the collaboration with our local partner from Slovenia, the Joseph Stefan, an interesting science cafe to translate to the public. So how is a fish, is it safe, is accessible in terms of cost, in terms of vulnerable groups, but also this aspect of implication of healthcare system, it was extremely important.
Really important this part you mentioned about sensibilization of the population, what they can do if they are exposed to mercury. This is very important, and thank you for explaining that. And I'm curious that you mentioned the role of selenium at detoxification. Could you explain a little bit about that?
I think this is extremely important, the role of selenium, because of as you know that when we talk about green chemistries, we need to take in consideration mercury and selenium are an implication from essentially a key role from the biological system. So when we talk about in particular DNA, the immune system function, so there will be an important aspect related to health system. The selenium is so important, in particular for female reproductive health. This is one of the areas that we also take in consideration where we talk about fertility, pregnancy, also in correlation with mercury. So this green chemistry cross-cutting activity approach in this project for the MERFISH from us are extremely important when I'm saying for the human health, for the well-being, when we talk about direct implication on the human health related to the seafood consumption, but also this collaboration of the seafood safety trade, the implication of the fish species and the collaboration with the local communities will be important. So we need to work on cross-cutting activity. Of course, mercury is a top priorities in the MERFISH, but also the selenium detection will be an important aspect that we are considering for environment and human health.
Thank you for explaining that. And there are other ways to talk about pollution and mercury by seeing some solutions. And thank you for explaining.
I think the real future challenge from MERFISH, but I would say in general, we need to take in consideration the collaboration not at European level, but internationally when we talk about farm-to-fork strategy, when we talk about traceability, when we talk about consumer acceptance, when we talk about the collaboration in the different regions in terms of behavior, in terms of health environment. This could be, let's say, a first project that will be legacy in this context. I mean, that is also an opportunity for us to generate through international cooperation any other project with Atlantic regions. In particular, the MERFISH project is already collaborating with Brazil already bilaterally, not only at European level, but also at Brazil and French level. But this is interesting to see also the collaboration for funding energy synergies with other activity can be done. I mean, what we found very interesting in this project, we discover new future research avenues can be involved. So I'm thinking not only the zero pollution, the contaminant, but also I'm thinking that when we talk about fishery product in terms of consumer acceptance, in terms of socio-economic aspect, will be important from us. And that is one of the projects that we have also with the Joseph Stefan in Horizon Europe, which is very focused on traceability related to specific consumer acceptance for the fishery product. And that is extremely important to see the new technology coming specifically to understanding all the value chain in this process. But also the citizen engagement are extremely important for not only for the MERFISH, but for any project in the context of the quadrivalence model, in particular to engage citizen, the student, how so important is the science is being generated to translate to the public.
Thank you for sharing with us your knowledge and about the MERFISH project. It says a lot about collaboration and how collaboration can contribute to the development of new technologies and solutions, and how important is that. It's very nice to hear more about your project. To our listeners, you can know more about the MERFISH project at merfish.eu. You can also listen to the other episodes of the All Atlantic Talks podcast, including the first season, on YouTube, Spotify, or at allatlanticocean.org. It was a pleasure to talk to you. I'm looking forward to see more results from the MERFISH project. And that's it. Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you, Mariana. Thank you, everyone.